Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
So Beth, it'll still require having, and I think as long as she can hear us, okay. We're having some difficulty, I'll pop in and throw the mic on.
Mr. President, I do have 7 o'clock whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Good evening. The time is now 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting of the Beloit City Council to order. Madam Clerk, can I get a roll call, please?
5 counselors are physically present, 1 is appearing virtually, and Counselor Preschel is absent.
Thank you. Item 2 is Pledge of Allegiance. May we all stand at this time.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There are no items under special orders of the day and announcements, leading us to item number 4, public hearings. 4A is a consideration of Resolution 2021-112, authorizing a conditional use permit to allow a religious institution in an R1B single-family residential district at 939 Liberty Avenue.
Community Development Director Julie Christensen.
Ramon Jimenez, I don't know how to pronounce the last name, and the Knights of Columbus have filed this application jointly for a conditional use permit to allow a religious institution in an R1B single-family residential district for the property located at 939 Liberty Avenue. They are wishing to relocate their existing parish to this building. They are currently meeting at People's Church at 340 West Grand Avenue. They have a contingent offer to purchase the building, subject to the outcome of the conditional use permit process. The zoning ordinance states that religious institutions in R1B are only allowed if reviewed and approved in accordance with the conditional use permit review procedures. In your packet tonight is a resolution which outlines the conditions that were recommended by Plan Commission, as well as some ordinance requirements. So this conditional use permit allows a religious institution in an R1B single-family residential district at 939 Liberty Avenue. And then our standard condition about major changes coming back through this public process, and minor changes can be approved administratively. And then the applicant is formally advised of the following additional ordinance requirements before occupancy. The applicant shall obtain all life safety inspections required by code that also reflect the review agent comments, which were included in the Plan Commission staff report. The applicant shall obtain an off-street parking agreement with a property owner within 500 feet of the main entrance of the structure and provide a copy for staff approval. There is an existing parking lot that's not actively used across the street. At the Plan Commission meeting, the applicant did indicate that he'd already talked to the owner, so he's already trying to resolve that issue. There was one call made into the planning office expressing concern because they thought there'd be a lot of outdoor special events, and they were concerned about that. And the Plan Commission asked the applicant if that was going to be the case. And he said no, that their events were all going to be indoors. So based on that discussion, Planning Commission did recommend approval, subject to those conditions and ordinance requirements. And this is on your agenda for action tonight.
Thank you. At this time, the public hearing is now open. Would anyone wishing to speak in favor or opposed to this, please come forward at this time. Second call. Third call. The public hearing is now closed. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I would so move.
Motion by Blakely. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Forbeck. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Good.
Mr. President,
Yes.
we want to make sure that Regina does vote since she's virtual and we can't hear her. Just double checking with her on her vote.
Okay.
No, I'm just, if you could ask her,
Okay.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
just ask her to respond.
Counselor Duncan, right? Is she unmuted right now?
I'm here. This
Oh.
is Counselor Duncan.
Regina, the president has a question for you.
Item 4A, how do you vote?
I can't hear you that clearly.
I'll repeat it.
Yes, please.
Item 4A, how do you vote?
I agree.
Okay. Okay, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 5 is public comments.
This time, we've reached the point of the agenda where members of the public may come before us to speak about issues that may come before the council in the future. Please keep your comments at 3 minutes or less, and please refrain from any personal attacks. We may not act on anything or respond directly, but we may refer you to a staff member if needed. Madam Clerk, did anyone submit any written comment or a public speaking form?
There were no written comments before the meeting, and I have 2 forms filled out for in person. The first speaker is Jeff Johnson. If you'd approach the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Jeff Johnson. I live at 310.5 State Street, and I'm here today to express my interest in 2 items on your consent agenda today. The first one is the Big Hill Park paving project. I'm a member of the Rock Trail Coalition, our organization, sometimes referred to as the Peace Trail people. That path that goes through Big Hill Park is a very important part of the connecting between Beloit and Janesville, and that small section that you're considering paving is a very difficult part to pave. And I've had many conversations with Mark Edwards in the Parks Department and with Jason Dupuis in engineering, and it looks as if you guys have figured out a way to solve this very difficult problem. And so I'm here in support of that. Our organization, Rock Trail Coalition, with the help of Colonel Robert Moore's Foundation and the Beloit and Beyond Bike Tour Treasury, will commit a grant in the amount of $5,763.32 toward this project. We think it's a very important project, and I wanted you to have that specific information. The second item that's on your agenda that I'm interested in addressing is the Henry Avenue resurfacing. There's a public hearing on Wednesday. I'm very happy to see this come forward as part of the Complete Streets effort that the city has had for many, many years to make the city more bike-friendly, pedestrian-friendly, to slow traffic down a little bit. And I think it's going to be a great connection in the city for the walkers and the bikers to some of the areas they haven't had access to before because that road is so difficult. So those are my only comments. Thank you.
Thanks.
Our second speaker is Tia Johnson.
Ouch.
Okay.
Tia Johnson, 1621 Indian Road. When the truth challenges one's personal beliefs, the truth is ugly. When the truth challenges one's personal privilege, it is inconvenient. The book of Genesis claims God first created the heavens and the earth, the atmosphere and the waters, then the plants and animals. Humans were last to be created. God instructed the humans to eat the plants and have dominion over creatures. Everything had been created prior to humans' existence. According to astronomy, geology, biology, the same sequence of existence occurred, just at a vastly different timescale. The truth is, the planet, nor any of the other living species, plant or animal, need humans, but we need them. We have the privilege to live with modern conveniences and luxuries. However, this privilege comes with a cost to ourselves, to our offspring, and to others who share this planet without the same privileges. Most who bear the burden of environmental and climatic disasters are in impoverished countries and are non-white people. As Midwesterners, we have the fortune to not face the harsh extremes that are being felt at the coastal areas and in other countries. We haven't had the severe heat, wildfires, drought, rainfalls, or floods. This doesn't mean that we will be unaffected. There have been reports just this year of crops withering due to heat waves out west. Raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, still on the vines and bushes, have reportedly been baked before they could be harvested. Stone fruits and apples were damaged and burned. Shriveled wheat berries and diminished kernels will result in reduced wheat production. In the hot fields, the starches in potatoes have been converted to sugars. Wineries have lost grapes and stored wine to smoke and wildfires. Farmers have had to destroy almond trees due to lack of water. Both coasts have seen this summer's extreme heat kill off fish and marine wildlife, baking mussels and clams in their own shells. As some regions are grappling with heat-related issues, others face the opposite. Facing the worst cold snap in 30 years, Brazilian coffee bean farmers have lost this year's crop and the next 2 crop cycles due to frost this summer. If you think the ugly, inconvenient truth of climate change is bad, wait until you see a privileged nation full of latte sippers react to a doubling in price of their morning cup of joe. I urge you to reconsider the importance of climate change and your capability as elected officials to address climate change through use of the city's budget, ordinances, and building codes. Thank you.
I did receive one other additional speaker, and that is Dorothy Harrell.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to come before you this evening to express one good thing that I have, and in the future I may come back before you to talk about a couple of concerns that I have. One of them concerning the Indianapolis 500 that's formerly known as Cranston Road, and also the status of the implementation of housing, of fair housing that was conducted a couple years ago, but we haven't had a real report about what's been done as a result of that committee. I've sat on that committee for over a year, and I've not gotten an update from anyone about what happened as a result of the work that we did. But tonight I come before you to say thank you. I want to say thank you to our city manager, Lori Luther. I want to say thank you to the council president, Clinton Anderson, for attending a workshop retreat that we had this past weekend at Beloit Public Library to talk about racism and anti-racism. As a result of that meeting, which was sponsored by JOB, which is Justice Overcoming Borders, we were able to have many courageous conversations that resulted in meaningful, constructive dialogue. We are talking about and imagining for ourselves how to create a legacy for us and our children that promotes equity, fairness, and liberation within our community and examines any racial disparities that may exist. Together, we determined that we can build a momentum necessary for our community to be the best place, the greatest place for people to live, not just for a few select citizens, but for all of our citizens. Going forward, we intend to continue to have dialogue, to do public discourse, and to engage in conversations that will build a plan to promote equity, fairness, and anti-racism within our Beloit community. I want to thank you again, Clinton and Lori, for your presence. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, anyone who did not fill out a form would like to speak, you can come forward at this time. Second call. Third and final call. Public comment is now closed.
Item 6 is the consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered at this point on the agenda.
Would any council member like anything removed from the consent agenda?
Can we remove 6F?
6F has been removed from consent agenda. Would any other council member like anything else removed from the consent agenda? If not, the consent agenda consists of items 6A through 6E, and then 6G and 6H. Motion by Levy, is there a second?
Second?
Second by Vice President Keys. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Counselor Duncan, can you hear us?
We might have lost Counselor Duncan.
I would not record that.
Okay. Okay, Madam Clerk's got that. Okay, that motion carries. So item 6F.
Is consideration of Resolution 2021-110 to award contract C-2123 Big Hill Bike Path.
And I don't, which, is it Public Works Director Williamson? Are you presenting this one tonight? Okay.
Good evening. You have before you the award of contract to pave a portion of Big Hill Bike Path. It's in the lower section of Big Hill Park. We received 2 bids for this project, and we're suggesting that it would be awarded to Rock Road, which was our lowest responsible bidder. We're very excited about this project, as we've already heard from one of our residents, that this has been discussed for a very long time. We're very excited to see this occurring. And if you have any questions, happy to answer any.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Moved by Keys, second by Levy. Any discussion? Yep, Vice President Keys.
I just wanted to take the opportunity to highlight the efforts of all people involved and express gratitude with this project and helping connect our communities, making Beloit more accessible by bikes, more bike-friendly, pedestrian-friendly, and really just, again, highlighting the efforts and sharing that gratitude. So thank you.
Yes, it's going to be really nice to see that done. So, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 7 is licenses. Item 7A, right, I'm sorry, for the people that were here on the consent agenda, your items were all approved. You don't need to speak to the council this evening, and your departments that you're working with will be in touch. Okay, thank you.
I would also mention you are completely welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting, but if you wish to go about other activities, we will completely understand.
Item 7A is consideration of Resolution 2021-116 for a new Class B beer and Class B intoxicating liquor license for Derriere LLC, doing business as Cheesehead Brewing, located at 414 Pleasant Street. Thomas Morgan, agent. You have before you an application where a Class B beer and license became available on July 1st when Cartoons did not renew their license. Mr. Morgan was in our office July 1st at 8 a.m. with a complete application seeking this license. He'd like to expand his offerings at his current brewery downtown. He's present if you have any question, and the ABLCC recommended this for approval on a vote of 4-0.
Can I have a motion to approve?
I so move.
Motion by Forback, second by Levy. Any discussion? Yeah,
I
Councilor
just
Forback.
have a comment. Tom, I'm delighted that you're going to be able to get this last one. He's just a upstanding citizen, and runs a great business, so.
Thank you. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Regina's eye on that one.
We got Regina. That motion carries.
Item 7B is consideration of Resolution 2021-114 for a new Class A beer and Class A intoxicating liquor license for Beloit Liquor, Inc., doing business as Badger Spirits, located at 2621 Prairie Avenue. Amanda Grace Spanton, agent. Here you have a change of ownership. As you know, for a while, Alice Blue, who's in the audience this evening, has been seeking to sell her existing business here in Beloit and in Janesville. The current buyers are, looks like there's two here tonight. There's a total of 3 that are going in on this venture as family. And Amanda Grace is also here as the agent, vested in making this a go around the 1st of September. The ABLCC did recommend approval on this application for the change of ownership and the new agent 4-0.
Do you have a motion to approve?
I so move.
Okay, motion by Blakely, second by Levy. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Wait for Regina just in case.
Counselor Duncan, are you voting on this? Can you hear me?
Okay, we'll put her down as a no vote on that one. That motion carries.
Item number 9 is appointments, and there is just one this evening, and that is to the Traffic Review Committee, appointing Stephen R. Benton, replacing Celestino Ruffini to a term ending September 30th, 2021.
Do you have a motion to approve? Motion by Levy. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Vice President Keys. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
There are no items under 10, 11, or 12. You are able to adjourn.
We'll head to counselor activities and upcoming events.
I'm so sorry. I got ahead of myself.
I understand. I know you want to get out of here, but we'll hold you up for a few more minutes. That's okay. We'll start with Vice President Keys.
Thank you, President Anderson. I do have 2 committee reports. The Appointment Review Committee, thank you to the applicants that we recently had and the appointment we just passed. And then as far as committees, we do have numerous opportunities for people to get involved. So I highly recommend people to check out the vacancies and to apply. And I'm going to highlight the Alcohol Beverage License Control Committee, Parks, Recreation, and Conservation Advisory Commission, the Plan Commission, and the Traffic Review Committee. So please go ahead and look at that and get those applications in. And then for the Parks and Rec Conservation Commission, the director's report was quite robust when we met this past Wednesday, and some of the highlights include the Bourne Learning Trail was completed at Summit Park, and so now we have 3 parks that have Bourne Learning Trails for our young ones. And I took my daughter there this weekend to Summit Park, and it was a lot of fun. The recreation staff is working with the bird scooter program, and so just to highlight some of the things is that to remind everyone that you are to be 18 years or older to use the scooters. The scooters are not allowed on sidewalks, but they are ideal for the multi-purpose paths and roads that are less or 25 miles an hour or less. And it does seem to be rolling out with folks having a lot of fun, just trying to help communicate that to the community. The city and the Wisconsin Special Olympics are partnering to bring a unified golf program to Beloit, and so that's going to be very exciting to facilitate programs for individuals with all abilities with the golf program. Then the Trail Tales has been expanded and currently at Eagles Ridge and Kruger Park, and the city has partnered with the library to bring story time to the park. So highlighting a lot of activities and programs for our youth during the summer. And the splash pads have been very busy, which is wonderful. And then the Dirty Dash is this weekend, and going through with families for registration. So and there may still be space, so if interested, do contact City Hall. And then the big last item was the Lower Big Hill Park bike path that is scheduled to be completed this fall that we mentioned earlier today. So those are my committee reports. Thank you for bearing with me. For personal activities, I did attend the first neighborhood cleanup between the city of Beloit and thank you, Community Action. And it was a lot of fun and a big success. And 11 people turned out to help pick up litter throughout the neighborhood. And the second neighborhood cleanup is this next Saturday for folks interested out at the Beloit Historical Society. And if individuals are interested to help come and pick up litter there, I encourage you to come and join. It is a lot of fun. And then my final thing is just everyone, please be safe, especially indoor gatherings. The current recommendations are for people to continue to mask, vaccinated or unvaccinated, with the Delta variant. So please stay safe. Thank you, and that ends my report.
Thank you. Counselor Levy? All right. Counselor Duncan said she could unmute, so if she has a report.
Counselor Duncan?
Yes, I can. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, do you have a report?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I do. First, I want to apologize for the technical difficulty, and I want to thank the staff for accommodating me today. And also, I'll be in touch with Clerk Stotler to let her know the approval of the vote. So I'm sorry that I missed that. So, that said, I'll begin with my report. I hope you can hear me clearly. First, I want to congratulate City Manager Luther. She was given the Health Center Champion Award by Beloit Area Community Health Center for the city's ongoing support and partnership. So way to go with that. Also, I attended the YWCA 2021 Woman of Distinction Awards presentation along with President Anderson. I want to congratulate this year's honorees, Tasha Bell, Robin Bai, Jenny Kraychak, Rosa Maria Larson, Taz Wynn, and Gina Stevens, as well as the 2021 Corporate Merit recipient, HealthNet of Brock County. And speaking of awards, I also want to give a shout out to the business owners Ron Whitley, Byron and Christy Matthews, Paquita Purnell, Tanisha Loggins, and Vicki Lynn for their recognition by Rock County Jumpstart in celebration of Black Business Month. So kudos to them. In addition to that, I attended Music at Harry's Place and listened to the wonderful sounds of the Harlan Jefferson Band. So I want to give thanks to the Friends of Riverfront and our city staff who were involved in this effort. It was a lot of fun. I also had a chance to rent a scooter at Riverside Park through the Bird Bike Share. I must admit that I was a little hesitant, but I really enjoyed it and encourage all residents to try it. This ends my counselor report for this evening.
Thank you, Counselor Duncan. Counselor Blakely?
No report tonight, thank you.
Counselor Forbeck?
Yes, I also have two committee reports. We had a great SLATS meeting this morning, and much concern has been given to us from citizens about what we are doing as a city government as far as climate change. And I just want to say that it's wonderful for me after 5 years on the SLATS committee, when we are talking now about projects that are coming up, and remember SLATS, everybody's working together. Wisconsin and Illinois, Winnebago County and Rock County, et cetera, et cetera. We are not only talking about projects as far as traffic goes, streets for cars and trucks, but we're also talking about that, quote, complete streets, unquote, which means that there's getting to be room now for people to walk or to bike. And it's really, even in the 5 years, the consciousness of the importance of this has really, it's totally whole and within our whole group. So it's wonderful to be a participant with that. Also, we are talking about connecting our community, all of our community, making sure that no neighborhood is forgotten when we're talking about bike paths, and we're even filling in our sidewalks now, so it's great. And I wish Dorothy was still here to hear this, but some of our response to the Cranston speeding is still going to come up this year. So I'm very excited about that. We're going to put Cranston on a road diet, and that's what they call it. And hopefully that's going to really help the lessen the speeding, et cetera. So I guess that's all. Thank you.
Now onto my report. Feels like it was a couple weeks ago, but I attended National Night Out. That was a day after our council meeting. It was great to be at the kickoff, and it was great for so many people to have neighborhood block parties. It's really what National Night was all about. So it's great that we're doing that in Beloit again, and seeing everybody out and getting to interact with our law enforcement officers and our first responders. I also attended that same night the opening night for the Snappers baseball game, and that was amazing. Please continue to support them. If you haven't been there yet, go check it out. It's definitely as big of a change as you could possibly imagine for them. I'm sure the players are probably more shocked than we were going from Pullman Field to ABC Supply Stadium, but it is absolutely amazing. So go check out a game. As Regina Duncan said, I attended Women of Distinction, and also want to give a shout out to Lori Stotler, who got recognized as the 2020 Women of Distinction, because they did not get to have the same treatment. So unfortunately, we didn't get to see a grand speech from you. Maybe you can give one here at the next council meeting when it's short. But it was really great to see so many honorees. And the other really cool thing about it was, I think all but 2 of them had Beloit ties. So it really shows we have a lot of great leaders here. Beloit's got so many talented individuals, and it was great to finally see them recognized, because I think we often kind of forget that we have so much great talent here at home. Councilor Duncan also mentioned the Black Business Month celebration. I attended that. It's really great to see how many businesses popped up, and Byron and Christy Matthews opened up not 1 but 4 businesses during a pandemic. I don't know much about businesses, but I feel like it's really tough to open up 1, but to do 4 during one of the worst economic times ever. They've got some skills. It's really impressive. And then the last thing, Dorothy Harrell did mention it during the public comment, but I attended a training with our city manager, and the first part was run by Rick Daniels, and he was very entertaining and it was fun to have a conversation about what we can do to be anti-racist. He really brought it down to a very easy, consumable level, so those of us that maybe didn't know as much as we probably wanted to know could understand it. We could really have a good conversation, and some of the groups that we participated in were very insightful and informative, so it was really appreciated. So thank you to Job and everybody else that was involved in that. And that ends my report.
I hesitate to say that the last item is adjournment, but I think we're here.
You are correct this time. So, yep, motion by Levy.
Second.
Second by Vice President Keys. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're now adjourned. Thank you, everybody.